Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to prepare for you a corn chowder chicken soup. So this recipe, I am a huge soup person. I love a soup in a sandwich. Like, it is the most delicious and sexual thing to me ever. So chowder happens to be my favorite, obviously, because it's like the creamy, the fatty, the goodness, everything. Clam chowder, corn chowder, doesn't matter what kind. I love it. So this is a gluten-free, dairy-free version of a corn chowder soup. If you wanted to make it vegan, you would omit the chicken and the chicken stock. You could do vegetable stock instead. So this recipe does have a few steps, but I'm telling you right now, it is so worth it. It is really delicious. And soup is a great food prep item for the week because you get a lot of meals out of soup. I make soup every week. It lasts all week long. Chris and I get, probably 10 meals. So it's just one of those things that it's not that expensive to make and it lasts a really long time. So for today, we are going to start with the corn. Corn is really not in season where we are, so I had to improvise and get already the shucked corn, which is okay, So this is just regular sweet corn, and it's been already husked basically, and you really don't have much work to do to it. So I'm just gonna take this off. Stick that there. Alright, and I will show you the first step to the corn. Okay, so your first step is you're going to take the kernels off of the cob. So there's basically going to be two pots going. One pot is going to have coconut milk and chicken stock with the corn cobs, and you're going to boil that, simmer it actually for about 20 minutes, and that's going to bring out the flavor of the corn, and it's going to reduce into a creamy goodness soup. And then in the Dutch oven pot, that's where you're going to have your veggies, and you're going to add more coconut milk, more stock, and then you're going to add the roasted corn and the coconut milk reduction from the corn husks. So basically you're going to take 2 cans of full fat coconut milk. I do like to get organic and full fat. If you're getting light, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be as creamy. So I do that, and you add 1 cup of chicken stock. Again, I like chicken stock. You can do broth. I just like the flavor more of the stock, and it's saltier. So for me, if you guys tune in, you know that I'm obsessed with salt. So it's more salty and good. So for the corn, you basically hold it like this, and you take your knife and you're gonna run it down. And you want to get all of the kernels off. Now for this dish, you're gonna need about 8 corns. So maybe you could substitute with frozen. I don't know, I haven't tried it, but fresh is always best. So what you do is you just continue to get all the kernels off. And then, so this is your naked cob. And basically what I do is I break it in half and I put it in the liquid. Okay? And then we go from there. So now that our corn is all cut from the cob and I have all the cobs in here, I'm going to now put this on medium-high heat till it comes to a boil, and then I'm going to lower it. This will simmer for about 20 minutes until it has reduced some, and then which you'll remove the cobs and you're left with this nice creamy mixture. But for the corn, what we're going to do is we're going to take about a tablespoon of avocado oil. You can use whatever oil you like. I just happen to like avocado oil for this. And I'm just going to do a pinch of the pink salt and a pinch of the black pepper. I really think it's important to season things as you go. It really just helps in the long run, I believe. Like, you don't have to sit there and throw tons of salt and pepper flavor in. If you just season as you go, then you'll be fine. So I just want to mix this. And also with the corn, so because corn is out of season and I had to get littler ones and they came in packs of 4, I did use 8. If you're having, you know, the big sweet corn, then I would say do 6. So depending on the size of the corn is going to determine how much that you're going to want to use. So right today I'm doing 8, and this is about the amount that I typically do. So it worked out good. And then with this, you want to make sure that the cobs are mostly submerged, just so the flavor can come out and it will go into the coconut milk and the stock. It's really nice. So you have to get a roasting pan for your corn, because your corn is going to go in the oven. It's going to go in your oven at 475 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. It is going to caramelize the corn, and it's going to give you that really delicious corn flavor. So I just put it in here. And then you just want to kind of spread it so it's like an even layer. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven at 475 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. About after 10-12 minutes, I open the oven and I just kind of give it a big stir so that it can be more even. And then I'll shut the oven and then do it again right before I take it out. So it depends on what you like for your corn too. If you like it really caramelized, then you would do it more of the 20-22 minute range. If you don't like it as caramelized, then I would say with the 15-16 minute range. So it really depends on you. So I'm going to go get this in the oven and be right back. Okay, so now our corn is out of the oven, and this has come to what I need it to do. See how much it reduced, and you see how caramelized the corn is. This is what I like. So if you don't like this caramelized, then just take it out a few minutes earlier. So what now we are going to do is I'm going to fish out the cobs because you do not need them anymore. And then you're going to just discard them. I have to say, I don't miss milk at all. I really, really enjoy coconut milk. I've always been a coconut person. I love anything coconut, flavored coconut. But I never had coconut milk until I started this program, and I have to say it's just so good. Even the coconut ice cream, it's to me it's just the same as regular ice cream. It's so good. So I'm just like really excited for it because I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm not being deprived of anything. So especially with this recipe, you really would not know. You really would not know. It tastes like corn chowder. It's so good. So anyway, before I keep rambling about how delicious this recipe is, this you're going to set off to the side. I'm going to put the corn in a bowl, and then we're going to start the soup process. It really doesn't take that long. These two things were the most time consuming for this recipe. So now that they're done, I'm going to get everything together now, and we're going to go from there. Okay, so now that we have all the ingredients prepped and ready to go, it is time to assemble our soup. So what I have in the pot, I have about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. You can use coconut or olive, whatever you decide. I just like avocado oil, so I try to use it as much as I can. So I have that in there. This is our prepared corn from our 8 corn cobs. I have 2 pounds of cooked chicken here. You can do rotisserie chicken, you can do whatever you like. I just had 2 packages of tenderloins, and I just put them in the oven at 350, bake them for 20 minutes. I put a little salt and pepper, olive oil, and thyme on there, and it's good to go. But if you want to rush, you can definitely buy a rotisserie chicken. It's totally up to you. I have 1 cup of chicken stock. I have 2 cans of the full fat coconut milk. Again, I like to use the full fat, not the light, especially with this dish because you're looking for a chowder-like feel. So 2 cans of that, and they're 13.5 ounces each. In here, I have 3 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes, just roughly diced. I have 5 carrots, again, roughly diced. I have a medium onion, chopped. I have 4 cloves of garlic, minced. I have 2 red bell peppers, chopped up. And I have 4 celery stalks, chopped. And in here, I have fresh rosemary, 1 tablespoon, and fresh tarragon, 1 tablespoon. And then I have 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. So I like a lot of herbs, and it gives it so much flavor. I love the tarragon. It's like very licorice-y almost. It's so good. A lot of people aren't a big fan of it, and if you're not, then just omit it. You could put basil, you could put green onion, anything like that you could do. But these are the ones that I particularly like, especially in this dish. So, to get started, and we have our reduced coconut milk and stock in here. So, to get started, you're going to put your stove on high and let the oil heat up a little bit, and then you're going to put in all your veggies. This is a Dutch oven. I believe it is 7 quarts, 6.5 or 7 quarts, something like that. These are really awesome to have. I highly suggest getting 1 or 2. You don't have to get the really expensive ones. They have plenty of ones now that are very reasonable. I actually bought mine on Amazon, very cheap, and they've been amazing. I use them at least once a week. So with this recipe, they're great for soups, they're great for stews, or anything that you need to put in and out of the oven. So I absolutely love Dutch ovens. So I highly recommend buying one. And this makes a lot of soup. Like I said before, Chris and I, we can use this all week long. It makes so much soup. And with the chicken, it just makes it more hearty. I feel like if it didn't have some kind of protein in it, it's not going to be as filling. So maybe like as an appetizer or like a quick snack, like that would be what it would be used for without the chicken. But with the chicken, it's a full meal, and you get quite full from this dish. So I'm going to go ahead and add my veggies. And again, you want your oil nice and hot, because if it's not, it's going to just absorb into the vegetables and they're going to get soggy. They're not going to get that nice crisp on the outside. So you want to make sure that the oil is nice and hot, because if it's not, it will just absorb into your veggies and you're not going to have the right texture, and it's just not going to taste good. So I let this cook, periodically stir it. I let it cook for about 5 minutes before I add any of the liquid. You want to try to get them already soft before you add the liquid. So especially the potatoes and the carrots, they can take a while. So you want to just make sure Everything is incorporated. And at this point too, I add salt and pepper because I like to flavor as I go. So add just a little bit of pepper. And again, a little bit of the pink salt. And that's the beauty with soup too, is you can add anything. You can add or omit anything you want. So you could add green beans to this, you could add broccoli, you could add asparagus, spinach, anything you'd like. And, you know, that's one of the reasons I really like soup. Or if you have a lot of veggies in your fridge that are about to go bad, just make a soup. It's a good way for your kids to get veggies too. All right. So now that your veggies are softened, you're gonna go ahead and add all your liquid and your corn and herbs. You're gonna leave the chicken till about 5 minutes before because the chicken is already cooked. So you don't want it cooking so much more long. You don't want it cooking much longer because it's gonna dry out. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my coconut milk. Stock, my herbs, the reduction, and the corn. To mix all this together. You can still leave the heat on high or medium high because you do want it to come to a boil. You want it to boil, simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes because you want to make sure all the veggies are soft. I'm going to go ahead and salt again. Okay. All right, so I'm going to let this come to a rolling boil, and then I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit and let it just simmer away for about 15-20 minutes. And then we will add the chicken and you will see the finished product. All right, I'll be back. All right, so our soup is now ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken. And now if you do not want to add chicken, then your soup, once your veggies are soft, then you're good to go. I'm just gonna heat this through for like 2 minutes. And that's it. And then your soup is ready to serve. But you see how thick it got? It's a very, very hearty, thick soup. And the beauty with this recipe, and actually all of the recipes that I make, is they hold so well, like refrigerated and heated, reheated, and even frozen. Like I have I've frozen, is that right? I've frozen a few of the meals that I have made, and it's good. You reheat them and they don't really lose much of that flavor, whereas certain foods, if you reheat it, it doesn't taste that good. So it's really nice. I actually prefer the soup to sit a day, any of the soups I make, because the flavor just marries. It just like marinates all together overnight, and the next day it's even more delicious and it's more flavorful. You will notice with this soup, if you make it, that the next day it's not going to be brothy. It's not like a brothy soup. It's very thick. So if you go to pull it out and it's like kind of congealed, that's okay. That's normal. When you reheat it, it's going to look like this. So it's just from the coconut milk, it sucks everything in. So, yeah. So that's what, this is what the soup looks like. And that's it. So you're going to go ahead and shut the heat at this point. And I'm going to grab a little bit. Okay. All right. This is going to be my dinner. I love this soup. And before I do anything, because I am a saltaholic, I always put more salt. When Chris and I used to go to fast food restaurants and we would go to like McDonald's or something, I would douse my fries in salt, like 2, maybe 3 packets of salt. And he would yell at me all the time. He's like, you didn't even taste it yet. You don't even know like how much salt is on there. I was like, no, it's not enough. And I would literally pour packets of salt. So I have a very salty palate, so you don't have to use this much salt. So, okay. So good. You know, this is the only time he comes around is when I have food.
How's it going? You gotta make sure you're not poisoning yourself or anything. I better take a bite here.
Uh-huh. Every time. There goes my dinner. Well, at least I have the pot. Thank you. Unbelievable. So yes, this is the corn chowder soup. It is gluten-free, dairy-free, and it can be vegan if you make those modifications. So it is absolutely delicious. I really encourage you to try this recipe. It's a little bit of a process, but it's really worth it, and this will last you all week. I guarantee it's going to be a family favorite. So thanks for tuning in, and leave me comments down below. Let me know what you liked, what you've added, what you didn't like. And please click subscribe to our channel if you like this video, and I will see you in the next one. And as always, the recipe will be down below. Thanks so much. Bye.